Okay, we are dropping frames immediately, so I got to turn the face only off. Okay, all right. I think we're back, maybe. Stop recording. I was trying to record my face, the 4K thing, and record all at once, like record everything at one time. Probably not a great idea. So I'm going to just try to record my face, or I'm just going to try to record the stream, and we'll deal with it like that. Anywho, yeah, welcome back. Another live stream here. I kind of really just want to dive into it because I've been just messing around with a lot of different things. Let me make sure that we're live over here. Um, yeah, we should be good. I do need to like get a better graphics card or something at some point so I can record my face as a source, just like full like this, so I could clip stuff and then whatever plus another MP4 of whatever I'm showing on screen plus stream it. But apparently it's a little too much for the GPU or something like that. But anyway, here's the deal. If you've seen some of the recent videos, I have been playing around with Hermes recently. Hermes is an agent. I can just kind of dive right into it here for you here, but I'll just kind of like tee it up with this. Hermes is an agent. What I'd like to do in this live stream is, again, like, if you're here, if you stop by, thank you for being here. Ask any questions and we can work through some stuff. But what I'd like to do here is just literally think for myself, maybe set up a couple different things or whatever, but really just kind of talk about how I'm processing this all right now, because it is another like layer. I really do believe like Hermes, things like OpenClaw, and not even those tools specifically, but like that type of tool, that category of tool, are really like the next level of AI. Now, the reason that I had the title the way it is because like I've been using Hermes for like a week, and like there's some like the concept I love, but I'm just thinking like with my knowledge and what I can do, like should I just, it's one of those situations, it's almost like a meta discussion of this is another piece of software that I don't fully like, you'd have to like grasp the entire feature set of it and everything. And that's an option, but you could just make your own thing that has the specifics for you. And yeah, so long and short of it, if you don't know what this is an open source piece of software that you could just download and install on your, on your computer and your, via your command line or whatever. I made a whole video about it. Go watch that. It's is it the last video on the channel? I think it is. It's gotten some pretty good support so far. Appreciate you guys, but obviously Hermes is hype right now. Um, and yeah, if you're on Windows, you're obviously gonna have to do like WSL or put it on a, VPS or something like that. Like you can't download it directly. You can't install it directly on your machine. I mean, you can, but again, there's like a subsystem situation. Go watch the live stream from last week where I tried to set it up for like 2 hours and it was like kind of mid. But I would say like moving in this direction is something that I would consider, and that's why I'm trying to be, I'm trying to navigate along with you guys. So I think that this level, if we can kind of think about it, is the next level of efficiency with AI. Like, it's one system, it has all of your context, like it knows where all of your context is, it has memory, which Claude Code and that stuff does have memory, but Claude Code, I mean, you'd have to do some stuff to make Claude Code or anything else like Claude Code is fundamentally, from everything I understand, like have I've watched and consumed and done, it's not like an agent, it's a coding agent and it's a harness, but it's not like this is like kind of a new category that sits in there. It's like a runtime. If I can bring, if let me see if I can bring up the graph that I like put together here real quick, like just the graphic. Stephanie, what's up? What's up? Toby, how we doing? What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate you guys stopping by. Yeah, we're just talking about Hermes and Claude Code and stuff because I'm trying to automate the fuck out of my business, and just the stuff that I don't want to do. And I need to give like realistic examples. So, even this morning and yesterday, like one thing, and again, you can do some, I'm not saying there's only one way to do these things. I'm trying to like conceptually take the tools that are out there and see, if I should use those tools or if I should just build something similar. But I think we're headed in the right direction. There's a lot of hype around everything, but like the concepts of like having an actual autonomous agent doing certain stuff for you, there's a lot of nuance there. But that type of thing, I think, is really where a lot of really successful and efficient businesses are going to head. So I'm trying to do it for myself. I'm trying to educate people, and I'm trying to ultimately sell it to people, which that's a whole nother story that I just put on my second channel, which is kind of like a pain in the ass. So we will dive into all that. Is this thing in these files here real quick? I don't know about you guys, but my desktop has notoriously been a disaster, and I'm just now getting it to the point where um, it is like getting better, because that's another thing with this whole thing. It's kind of crazy. I was like ahead of the game mentally with some of this, because I didn't want things like on my PC. So for the longest time, I've had like my personal Google Drive, my Szymanski Media personal drive, Google Drive, and then my Motive 11 Google Drive, and those have all synced, and the files have been on there. But obviously, your desktop and your desktop's typically a dumping ground, so that I haven't been able to get over that, because that's just kind of where everything sits at first, and then you move it. And but like even my downloads and my screenshots like even sync to Google Drive. So I've pretty much like lived in the cloud. I wanted this idea where you could just throw your laptop into a river and you just lose the hardware. You know what I mean? You don't actually lose any of the files. So getting closer on that. But the reason I bring all that up is because in this setup and in this new world, it kind of is like, it's not like you need that. I mean, but that is kind of like part of it. There's a couple edge cases and nuances to it, because if you're making like project files, right? Like if you're developing apps and shit, like there's so many files there, you can't really sync that to like a Google Drive. Obviously, you're syncing up to GitHub, but then you have like, I was just thinking about this last night. You have like your environment variables and everything like that. You could use like a password manager for that shit, but still figuring that part out. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I have a ton of video data that some of it goes to bunny.net if it needs to get streamed. Obviously, some of it goes to YouTube, but I back everything up now through Backblaze. And that process is now being automated. Like I'm piloting it. I was piloting this morning. I filmed a video, and then I told Hermes like, hey, this is where the video is. You have access to Backblaze. You have access to YouTube. Here's the video. Take the video. Also has access to DeepGram. So just let me just give you a quick one here, okay? And I would love to show you how to do this, but the reality of the situation is I don't know exactly every line of code that it wrote to do this, okay? Just you have to think of the workflows. So I'll walk you through this, and then I'll show you more about Hermes in a second, but just so you get like an actual tangible thing here, okay? And adapt this to your own situation. I film the video. I open OBS. I look into the camera. I click the record button. I talk. I stop the recording. That gets saved onto my desktop. Cool. It has some sort of name that's like, it's an MP4 and it's got some sort of timestamp name to it. Okay. So then I went to Hermes. I said, hey, there's a video on my desktop. Here's the path. I'm doing a lot of copy as path nowadays. Drop the path in there. And then you say, hey, Hermes, listen, this is what I want you to do. There's a file right here. You have access, because this is a pain in the ass to auth everything, like OAuth and everything, but I did most of that yesterday. So you have access to the Google API or the YouTube API through my my channel, all three of my channels technically, but now my second channel is the one I was talking about here. You have access to my second channel through the API. You can upload, you can do all that. You have access to Backblaze, where I back up my videos. You have access to DeepGram, which is a transcription service, but again, swap the shit out for anything you have or want to use. You can also there's also I think there's like speech to text, like libraries and stuff like that. But anyway, DeepGram's great. So, and I was using it for something else. So you have access to all that, right? So here's what I want you to do, Hermes. I want you to create like effectively, eventually a skill, but I want you to create like the scripts essentially to make this all happen. So all those APIs are already connected up. So basically what it does is it creates like a little process and says, okay, Mark wants me to look at this video. He wants me to transcribe the video using DeepGram or whatever. Then he wants me to look at those things, and I already gave it my template of my description that all my videos have, where it's just like a couple links and then anything else that I say and like a little anything else that I mention, and then a little one sentence description, and then all the chapters. It goes, and this is all running off of GPT 5.5 is the model here, and it's just the subscription. I'm not even paying API for that. So it goes and it says it's going to transcribe everything. So it transcribes everything. Then it's like, okay, I need to look at the description. I need to get the right information. I need to generate some information and put it in there. So then it creates that description. It creates me some title ideas. in this one, I just told it to like give me a title idea and then I would like tweak it from there. But I've been using a version of this workflow in just like Claude Chat before, which is, it worked, but it was clunky. This literally, the title, description, and uploaded the video directly to YouTube. So like, I don't know, it took a little bit because like maybe like 10 minutes or something. That's the one, I'll talk about that later. But like it literally put it up on my YouTube channel. I just went into the second channel. It was there. It was private. It was a private video. It had a title in it, had the perfect description. And that saved me at least some amount of clicking in time. And again, the problem with all this shit is like it takes a little bit of time to get right. But that's why, like, if you do it to stuff that you do all the time, then it's going to save you a fuck ton of time in the long term, right? So that's what I did there. So that's one specific thing. And then I forgot the last part is I said, after you do that, rename the file on my desktop to the title that you named it on YouTube, and also back it up to Backblaze in the appropriate folder directory, path up there. And it does all of it. So at minimum, saves me a ton of clicks. I'm doing that a lot. So, it definitely helps me. And that's just one example. And I know that was YouTube, and maybe not everyone's a YouTuber, but yeah. Real quick, is Motive 11 your main company and your name is a sub company of that? Just curious. I'll tell you that real quick. I love talking about that. Then we'll get back to Hermes real quick. If you want to hear the lore on this, I should make like a full story somewhere. I had a full story. I had like basically a wiki page, a fake Wikipedia page on one of my old versions of my website. Now it'd be even easier to create, but sidebar. When I was young, I'm getting old, I'm 30. When I was young, I was watching a lot of Gary Vee content and like not really Mark Cuban content, but like I was like looking at those big guys and I was like, oh man, they got holding companies, they got all this shit. Maybe I want to have a lot of stuff. So this is the shortest version of the story. I created a company called Mark Joseph Szymanski LLC. I say this all the time. Please do not name a company after yourself. It's not like it's bad or you can't do it. It just really gets confusing when you're signing, your name as a company that's also your name. It's really silly, like your actual name. So don't ever do that. I changed that to MJS Industries. So I own 100% of MJS Industries, and then MJS Industries technically owns like these other little subsidiaries. There's like 5 of them at one point because I was a fucking idiot. But yeah, I own that owns technically Szymanski Media LLC and then Motive 11 LLC, which used to be Find It Tech LLC. There's also technically Fueled by Progress LLC, and there was like AM and the PM LLC and Zenith Properties Group LLC. Don't do it. Don't do it. I was silly. I was young. Don't do it. But to answer your question, yeah, I have this works. I would really probably recommend, if I had to redo everything, I would probably recommend the holding company thing, maybe, because I still have large aspirations that like I'd want to, I think, everything that I looked and researched, like it does make sense. Like if you're going to buy more shit or do more stuff, like you should probably have a layer of like this thing owns this other stuff. But long story short, forget all that. If you ever decide to like do, the reason I did the 2 company thing was because like I knew that I was going to do content and sponsorship stuff and consulting and whatever. But then I also thought like, okay, I'm gonna do service provider shit that I may not want to do forever, or it may need to be like slightly different in a way. I do actually like that. I love having the idea of this is my company. I like being a founder-led thing, even though now like I'm probably not gonna hire it. Like I don't have any aspirations to hire people. I probably will at some point, but like I with AI and everything like that, I'm too efficient at like doing these things. So long story short is, yeah, I would highly recommend that, like, if you're going to do both of those, probably separate them. Like, I can't think of a real, it's a little more complex, but I would say probably separate those things if you're doing like very different shit. But this isn't legal advice or business advice or tax or financial advice. So do whatever you want. John says, use Claude Cowork to organize them. You know what? This is really interesting. I don't know what that was in specific. Was it the files? So, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent with Claude Cowork, but I legitimately, and I just think I'm not the right audience, I legitimately don't know why anybody uses that. And I've heard other people have this take now that are larger than me, so I don't think I'm completely crazy. I tried to use it for 5 seconds, and I'm like, why the fuck am I in here? Because Claude Chat is actually, if you, real quick, again, like, on the whole here, and if you guys want more of this stuff, I have to plug Modern Builder Society because that's how I make money. Link in the description. But you can navigate all this with a group of people and bi-weekly calls and all that. Anyway, but the Cowork thing, right? So
Claude Chat has gotten way fucking better over time. Like, I mean, it's doing tool calls. My clients are fucking building websites in there, you know? So like, I mean, it's doing a lot of different stuff in there. And if you like watch it reason and watch all the stuff, I mean, it's definitely gotten better than what it was. I mean, it has connectors, it has deep research, it has all these things, right? And you know, I think about this and I step back and I'm like, you know what, that thing is so good, but there are some issues for me, and I can talk about those as I go into Hermes, as I talked about a little bit in that video that I posted. But Cowork doesn't make any sense to me because Claude Code came out before Cowork, and I mean it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. I'll explain. Code is so good, like it's unbelievably good, and that's one thing that I'm kind of missing with Hermes is like I'm using GPT 5.5, which is fine. I'm only on the $20 a month plan. I don't know if you scale, if you go to the $100 a month plan and you have it on here, if it would actually be better. I'm thinking maybe, but I don't know. So that's like one thing. Cowork, I know, like, you know, instinctually why it exists. It exists because not everyone wants to use chat. Not everyone wants to use, not everyone is not scared enough to use code, right? These corporate people or whatever, but they want to. The chat is completely like sandbox. Like you can't put a path in there. You can't put a path to your files and have it. I understand. Like I understand what it is. I just don't understand that how you could sit in Cowork land for that long, because I was in there for a second and I was like, I can't do half the shit that I want to do here, because having code, like having being in Claude Code is like it takes control of everything. Like you just give it control of everything. You don't even, you know, you go YOLO, you know, bypass permissions mode. As long as you're not an idiot, you're fine, right? So, you know, obviously, you know, be careful. But like, but that's kind of how I thought, right? And I maybe it's because of, again, I'm projecting like my knowledge and experience on other people. Very possible. I do that all the time. It's probably not a good thing. But that's kind of how I think, right? I don't know why. I don't is anyone actually using Cowork for anything like very specific or very like helpful? And if you're using it, why are you using it instead of code and instead of chat? Um, I mean, I understand why you'd be using it instead of chat, but I don't really understand why you'd be using it instead of code. But again, maybe it's just scared, you know, like I'm not saying you're scared, but I'm saying that maybe it's just like I don't want to deal with like the code thing. I'd rather this just like chat with this thing and have it go off and do tasks. But I still feel like I tried this and it's like it's kind of still sandbox like in some sort of ways. So I don't know. We'll have to see that. What's up, Michael? How we doing, dog? Is this you or is this your Hey Gen avatar? I'm not sure. I'm just kidding. That's fucking sick, dude. We got to talk more about that. Here's an enigma that I experienced with Claude, OpenAI, and Gemini. For whatever reason, starting a new project task from scratch and providing context in chat provides better results than if I were to ask AI to recall previous memory. So my concern is that somehow providing too much context, as you do with Hermes, influences the agent so much that it becomes confined to just context and doesn't produce results I'm looking for. Okay, so this is a huge question. Appreciate that. I'm not going to tell you that I have all the answers here, but I'm going to tell you that from my experience and from other like good content that I've consumed, I think I could provide some level of insight on it. Although I don't think that I have like a really good graphic for this, unfortunately, yet. Let me see if this graphic that I have on screen here that I know you can't see. I mean, we could try this a little bit. Let me just try to. Let me see if this would like kind of help here. Also change the background up. It's kind of nice, right? Anyway, so this is just like something, again, you could see it more in that other video, but at a high level, I was going to say earlier, this Hermes situation and the concept of an agent or OpenClaw or whatever, like it kind of, I feel like it's more of this, okay? At least from everything I've seen, it's more of like a runtime. It's like a new word. Just get more terminology every single day. But like you have your devices, you have your interfaces. This is like a runtime thing that sits there all the time. It's different than to me, it's different than Claude Code, because Claude Code doesn't like run. It's just it's a coding agent that helps you, but it doesn't like run all the time. It doesn't have the capability of doing that. You could probably make it do that, but it doesn't. Obviously, you can make it do that. You can make anything do anything. But like this pre-built thing, it's like it's already kind of in there. So that's one thing. Now, I do want to answer Michael's question directly as best as I can, because I was seriously I don't want to say misguided or misled, but I was seriously didn't know what the fuck I was like I didn't have my mind wrapped around this, and I think I have a better understanding of it now. So the one thing this has taught me is that it's made me care more about those things in red there, like memories, sessions, history, skills, tools. Like obviously I knew what skills were. I created some skills. I made them on videos and stuff like that. But what I think is like a big change for me now is I was thinking like, and I did this months back. I mean, I feel like I was before literally anybody said this. There's a video I'm gonna show you because I'm proud of this video. There's a video here, right here. That video. That's funny thumbnail I had there. So real quick, this video way back here, where was it? This video that got like basically no views back then because I thought this thumbnail was good. I spent time on it. It was ass apparently. Or maybe the title just sucks. Like why your AI outputs are trash and how to fix them. Probably not a great title for what I was talking about. What I did in this video was I just explained and showed how and I provided like a lead magnet skill for it as well. 2 months ago, I said, here's what I did. I like basically had, at that point it was ChatGPT, like interview me, ask me like literally like 100 questions about myself, my life, whatever. And I did voice memos. Like I probably did 3 hours of voice memos of stuff. And I transcribed it all, whatever. And then I dumped it in there and it created this huge file, this huge like identity file that I actually tried. I should have just done it in Markdown, but I put it in fucking Notion for some reason because that's a side note. But I'm not a team. There's no reason for me to be using Notion anymore. That's a hot topic we could discuss later. But so I put it in there, and then as well next to it in another file was a database of I'm a psycho, so I have like 300 events that have happened in my life with like event name, category, day that it happened, and that's kind of it. Like, whatever, like, just so like, it's kind of like a timeline. I'm not saying every single little thing, but like a lot of the big things that have happened. Right. So I have that in there. So that is like all the context of your life that you could possibly ever need, like historically. Right. Now, I didn't understand at the time because this was like, I mean, I'm sure OpenClaw was already out at that point, but like, I wasn't in there and I didn't understand that. The problem is, and I promise I'm like circling back to this question here from Michael. The thing is, like, you need to gather all that context. And I've actually kind of fucked up with Hermes because, like, I haven't, like, given it enough of that because I wanted to, like, I wanted to wean it into that situation. I wanted to understand it. So I wanted to slow roll the idea of, like, giving it more of that. But I actually had a note for today. Let me read it off screen here. It was like having one source of truth for context in my business, like one system with access to everything. So those are those two ideas. And 2 months ago when I made that video, like that was the start of it, but I didn't know exactly how to do it. Cause like at that point I was like, okay, well, Claude Code, I just want you to go look at this shit and like know the context is there. But there's more to the story now because when this thing is running or any agent is running, like the context, the knowledge, really, I think like the better term is knowledge because context is just overused now. The knowledge thing that you have, like your knowledge could be a bunch of shit. It could be like Google Drive data, it could be, that all of that data, it could be whatever, and that needs to sit somewhere. That doesn't always get loaded in. That doesn't always get used in every single prompt. What does get used in every single prompt, to my understanding, is the memory. So, and those are things that you really don't actually, I mean, you can edit them yourself and just say directly, hey, put this in the memory. And you probably should for certain things, like anything that you want. But I think like the lines from everything that I get, because I ask the fucking AI all the time, like, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking? Educate me, please. Right. And it knows its code base. It knows what it's doing. It's not, I don't think it's hallucinating on a lot of that stuff. Right. It's like, this is how it works. So just tell me. So I can use it better. And I think that there's probably some credence to that where there's this idea of context rot that has never been fully explained to me perfectly, which I do think exists because I can see it now, like as my chats get longer and longer, and it probably depends on what model and interface and harness you're using, but it can definitely get worse. So I do think that starting fresh in a lot of cases, you should probably have like I think you should probably have like millions of chats, over the course of your life. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have like, you shouldn't, I've been guilty of this. I just keep running everything through the same chat, but I'm trying to catch myself now. Once I finish an idea, I want to get the hell out of that chat. Like, I don't want to like pivot to something else. Even if like some of the stuff carries over, I should really probably just go to a new one because it is going to reset the context, it's going to give you a fresh thing, but also it's still going to pull in the memories. In this case, at least the way this works, I mean, Claude Code has memory too. It's just like, it's so poorly, like it's not the main part of it. So like, I feel like nobody really, I just learned this. I mean, I just learned like, oh wait, Claude literally saves in your .claude file, like I didn't know this at all. It does work similar to Hermes in certain ways. It's just missing all of like the runtime aspect of the fact that like Hermes runs constantly. It's always a thing, you know, as long as, again, in this case, as long as your computer's on and all that sort of stuff. Or if you're on a VPS, you know, you don't have to worry about that. But it's just missing that part of it. And in my mind, I wanted that. And the other thing I wanted was the fact that if I was in chat, like I would do a bunch of shit in chat, and then I would go over to Claude Code, and I'd have no context. Like context isn't the right word, but I'd have no like memory and context from that. They're like two separate systems. And I don't know if that's, I guess it's by design, but I don't understand why it's by design. Maybe for other people that's good, but for me, like I'm constantly doing shit that is code and is not code. And this is where like Cowork, I feel like could be amazing, but it's a separate discussion. It's not what it's not what actually is happening. Like Code is such a shit name for Claude Code. It should just be like control, like, or something like that. Like it's just, you just have control of everything. But the problem is, again, like when you start up a new Claude session, a Claude Code session, you don't have all of, like, there's memory in there, but it like, for me, I asked, I was like, do you know anything about like my other shit? It's like, no, this is like a fresh thing. And I'm like, that's not what I want, because I want you to be able to go grab information. And I know there's the session history in there, but I don't know if any of this is making sense, or if I'm just like crazy and you guys are like not, you know, like don't have these problems. But like I have a tendency to like kind of go like 5 steps ahead of like where, like I see what's possible here, and I'm like, well, okay, this is actually what I want. Maybe it's possible now, maybe it's not. And that's what drove me to like Hermes, because I wasn't ready yet mentally to, when OpenClaw came out. Plus, obviously, that was the first one. It was kind of like crazy, right? Way less like shit with Hermes, I guess. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My wife is watching some sort of fucking film upstairs. It's like loud as shit. I'm telling her to turn that down. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, so that probably didn't answer your question, Michael. Sorry about that. But I see there's some more chats here. Let me see. One source of truth. I've been trying to find the setup for years. We're working on it, Stephanie. We're working on it. Always keep my context small unless I'm running a long, huge context that's all pertain to what I'm working on. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that I don't think you want to flood it with context necessarily. Again, I've heard of context rot. I've heard of all these things, and I've kind of experienced it a little bit, but I still want it to know the information that I know. You know what I mean? I think, again, as I go through this, I wonder if there's any, I wonder if I can prompt this thing real quick to bring me back. Let's do a live example. I don't know if this is going to work. Here, let me show you this real quick. Let me just show you one of the ways. I should show you a bunch of other shit. But I'll show you like this right now, and then we can kind of go from there. Just real quick, we'll let this run, because again, it kind of seems a little slow too. Now, I mean, it's doing a lot of shit. Like it's calling, like, watch this. Okay, so I gotta get into WSL, because this is where I'm doing it. You know, much to the chagrin of Matt Medeiros over at the AI Minute. Told me not to do WSL, but I'm still testing. So I have a crazy fucking setup here, and I talk about it all in that video, but the high level is like, it's WSL, so it's a subsystem on Windows, it's Linux. Then I have Tailscale, which is a thing that makes like a little mesh network on my network here, because obviously it's local. I've been leaving my computer on and leaving this running. So then when I go like this, like WSL and Hermes, I can access this directly from here, like from my, you know, my terminal. And this is like the bare bones way, if it ever loads. This is the bare bones situation that you would ever have here, right? But I was like, and this is the other thing, guys, like I'm trying to like literally put all these pieces together into a concise thing. I want access. I want access to my shit. Maybe I'm just being too maybe I'm just asking for too much this one. I want all of my fucking devices to be able to access this thing everywhere. I want an AI assistant. That's what I want. And people are like, you know, people give me shit or whatever. Like I just said, You know, I don't care if it's only on this computer in my office, because when I'm out, I want to be detached. God bless you. Okay. I'm not at that position yet. I want to be able to go on my phone and bring this thing up at any moment and have it know everything about me. I literally want to be like here, send a prompt, add an about page to my fucking thing or whatever. Then walk the fuck away. Then look at this thing, be like, how's the progress? And then you know what, tweak this, tweak that. Like that's what I want. And I'm basically already there. I've had to hack it a little bit. Not really hack it, but like, you know, Tailscale, just real quick, the reason that I said that is because that's the access piece, at least right now, that I put in there where, you know, instead of just having it in the CLI on your computer, now I can go to my laptop, anything that's on my mesh network. I can go to my laptop or my phone and I can load in basically via like, you know, kind of local host situation to those things, right? So yeah. And last thing, I gotta rant on this real quick because this is gonna piss people off. This messaging bullshit, like doing stuff through Telegram and Discord, the dumbest, like some of the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, yes, like that's cool. That's a cool concept. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm saying that why the fuck at this point, if you're used to AI, why would you want to do that when you already have the experience of like a nice, regardless of what you think about ChatGPT or Claude or whatever? I think we could kind of agree that the chat experience of that is pretty nice. Like, you know, having your sessions on the side and having like the UI that's been piloted so far with that, I'm sure it could get better, but it's not bad. Like your things in the middle, right? All of your current context in your sessions in the middle. You got your chats on the side and you can pop back and forth. You don't really have that, a UI for that out of the box. I mean, there is the dashboard thing for Hermes. That's okay. I don't really like it, but like you have that. But my point is that why are people going to Telegram and Discord? I tried to use Discord. It's still linked up. I'm actually banned on Telegram for no reason, but I think it's because I changed my phone number and then I tried to do it again and it didn't work. But anyway, I tried on Discord. It's not like a fun experience. I'm just DMing this agent and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That going back to the context and the session and the rot and all that, I have no idea what session I'm on there. It's like, it's basically, it's all just like the same session and I don't even get it. I don't even understand it. It's awful. I don't ever want to do that again. So my whole thing is that my solution for that was we need a dashboard, and then on the dashboard internally kind of sucks, to be honest. So let me go here real quick. I'm all over the place here. Sorry guys. But I mean, it's all pertinent. Let me just kind of check this out real quick. Where are these sessions at? There's so much shit in here. Hang on. Let me flip back to like a new session so I can show you this. What is this one? There's so much stuff in here. I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, let me just do a new chat here. Yeah, let me just show you these. Okay, so well, actually, let me show you the other one too, just so you get the full view. Is this good? I think we're good here. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let me show you this. Right here. Cool. This is the thing that if you install Hermes, you'll get this thing. I hate this fucking thing, to be completely honest with you. I hate this green color. You can change that, but I don't like it. You have to like, you're still like chatting in here, which I don't even know if this is going to load. I don't even know what's going on. This is like basically a wrapped terminal. They call this the TUI, okay, instead of the CLI like we had over here. I'm honestly not even sure why it's not. Normally it pops up in here. I don't even know what's going on. But like I don't use it. Like this is good for like some config stuff because this is native. This is from there. It's official. But honestly, you could just go download new dashboards from open source stuff and just have it working. Do you like this or you like this? You see what I'm saying? Like look at this. Like this is the experience that I wanted. I wanted this, and you might be looking there's like, Mark, this is literally just Claude and shit. It's not though, because like it's literally a different UI for an agent now that you still get the chat type experience when you want it, and then you can still have it do other things like, and you can also integrate this into like VS Code or whatever, and you don't even need to do that. I mean, people are creating software from fucking Telegram. Okay, I want you to wrap your head around that for a second. People are creating software from messages on Telegram. That's what they're doing now. Like, I'm not saying that's right, okay? I'm saying that like if you're somebody that like had more knowledge and experience and like you had a little bit of a background, like zoom out and see what the options are, and then see like, how can I manipulate this with all of my knowledge? That's what I'm doing. So I'm way off on the deep end here on a tangent, but the last thing that I'll say, and then I'm going to look at the chat, is that this, and also that the weird shadow thing up there is because there's a shadow on my OBS that I still need to fix the algorithm for. It doesn't actually look like that. This is a custom dashboard that I downloaded. Links in that other video. Just type in Hermes dashboards. There's an article and it's like one of the ones. This was great, cool, awesome. But then I was like, you know what? There's probably even a better one, and this one has a lot more shit. Like you can even see like your files and everything like that in here, and it's pretty cool. So my point is that this is like another level. Everything is still connected in this, and you can go over to like what we were talking about there. CLI is what I first told you about. I don't even remember what that example was that I was going to tell you. I was going to do now. If somebody wants to remind me. But the TUI is any of these custom like the native ones or any of these custom dashboards. Messaging is the silly shit on Discord and there. And then I didn't talk about ACP, and the reason I didn't is because I am having a little bit of not trouble, but like annoyance doing that. That's like some sort of agent client protocol that I don't know. I don't really think is like, it's not any way integrated. It's like you go over to VS Code, you have that instead of the Claude Code extension. And then I don't even know what's here. Let's see. Oops, let me see here. Okay, I don't know what that is. That's fine. Right here, there's this little ACP button right here. And it's like you open ACP chat. I guess we'll trust this. It's just some random fucking folder here. Okay. Let me click it. No? No? Okay, well, yeah, okay. So like, this is like kind of what you're used to if you're in VS Code and Claude Code. You would just open Claude Code and you get this, right? So if you have this, now you can use this for other agents, but like I wired it up, or I had the thing wire it up so it could use this. So it's like, if I were to type in here right now, like, who are you? Like, it's going to say Hermes, and it would say I'm on 5.5 and all that other shit, right? So it's like, now it's in here. You see what I'm saying? Like, now I can code. If I wanted an IDE environment, I could do it in here. But here's the point, okay? The point is that people aren't even doing that. Again, I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm just saying that like, you don't even need to go that far if you don't want to. But now that everything is, I don't know, I just feel like everything is cohesive for the most part now. And I know I said that, you know, am I going back to Claude Code? It's like there are problems still. And I don't know if it's like, oh, I should just fix those problems. I should work through those problems. I should wait for those things to get better. But like Claude Code is still a better experience for code, but it was lacking so much of that like contextual awareness for me. I mean, it's possible I didn't have it like perfectly set up too as well. But then the last thing, and this is the nail in the coffin, then we're going to the chat. If you want to change inference, if you want to swap the model, you can't do that with Claude Code. You can't do it. Like you could call out to APIs and do other shit if you wanted to like do some OpenAI stuff here and there. But like if you wanted your driver to be that, you can't do that. With something like Hermes, again, I'm not fanboying Hermes. I'm the concept is the thing that like, in that graphic that I showed you, like that is the thing. It's like, I feel like that needs to be swappable because new things are going to come out. Better models are going to continue to come out. And I want to be able to have that type of thing. And I also, at some point, want to be able to potentially go local with some of this stuff. So I don't know. It's a weird spot. Okay. Kyle can't type this morning. It's all good. It's all good. I know this is from a while ago here. I'm trying to rip through these. This was like 10 minutes ago. Agreed. Claude Code having to spin up every time is annoying. I do like the consistent runtime flow of Hermes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why they should. I don't know why they don't have that. I don't know why they haven't released that as like an opt-in, opt-out feature. Because I put that up on X and people were like, no, I wouldn't want to do that because I have different things. It's like, bro, give me the fucking ability to do it. And then you can swap it however you want. You know what I mean? Like you could turn it off if you want. It's like, I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. Very possible. That's why I built around my Obsidian vault. All the context is there and knowledge info. Yeah, I watched a good video from my buddy Mansell the other day. And the Obsidian thing, like everybody's obviously hyping that. If you use Obsidian and you love that, then I think it's great. I haven't used it, so I'm kind of talking out of turn. The one thing that I would say, and you guys can let me know, the hypothesis is that I don't actually give a fuck about my context. Like I don't care about seeing it in certain ways because it looks cool and it seems cool. But like this is like, let me real quick riff on the Notion thing just to kind of again. I made all that context and I put in Notion, and then I realized I basically just made markdown files that I'm never going to look at. Like I'm never going to walk through all this context. The only thing that I want, maybe it's too much of a want, maybe it's ridiculous, but I wanted to dump my entire brain into something. And then I wanted my brain, my second brain, to stay updated with my first brain. Maybe the only answer is Neuralink. I don't know. But that's what I kind of wanted. And that was like the kind of the beginning part of it, right? And then I realized that I did all this in Notion, and I mean that was a huge file, and it's like I don't need that. It just needs to be in a markdown thing. Now, if you're a team or you like Obsidian, or like whatever, like do your thing. But I just feel like unless I'm missing something there, it's literally just like a UI in a lot of senses for markdown files. And obviously it does a lot of other things, like again, if you want to manipulate it. But this actually brings me to another point here. Let me go to my Excalibur real quick. This brings me to another point. We talked a little bit about this last one. What the purpose of UIs actually is now. I don't know if everyone's going to agree with my stance on this moving forward, but like, I really don't think that UIs are what they were before. UIs were literally created to, like you had code in the day, right? You had to do like a command line. Like who the fuck wants to know? I'm in the command line, but obviously now it's funny. We have like command line interfaces. Like we have agents in there, like coding agents or whatever, harnesses, whatever in there. And so like I literally tell it push to GitHub instead of typing out whatever the fucking thing is. And a bunch of developers probably like, curse me out for that. Like because I don't want to type the commands in. I just want to tell the thing what to do and then it types the commands in. That's oversimplified, but that's basically what's happening, right? So my point is that what is the purpose of UIs? If I can hold two buttons down, whisper flow, link in the affiliate link in the description, and if I can type in, I don't even need voice mode. I don't even need it to do the voice to speech. Like I already do that. If I can just type that in everywhere, input that everywhere. I don't like, you need a UI for some things, I think, at least me. I don't want to be clicking around. Like that's even like the other thing about the Hermes dashboard thing, right? When I saw that, I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. If I go in here, all of this stuff is definitely exposed to me in other ways. Like I could definitely like change config just with my voice through chat. I don't need to necessarily be clicking around in here. However, the difference is crazy between this right here. Is it help? I don't even know. You see like all this, right? Like all this like drop down shit. Like there's no way I would ever, I don't even know what's going to happen here. Oh, Jesus. See, like this is worse. Like this is a regression. This is how it was. I feel like, I'm not saying it's a regression. I'm saying that if you compared this to like a UI in certain ways, I'm sure there's certain things in here that you can change, right? Like there's certain config and stuff like that in here. And obviously some of these are like in the session, but some of these are like info stuff or whatever, configuration, right? Like that is what a UI is good for. A UI is good for like knowing what exists now because we're still visual creatures. But it's even waning a little bit there. My whole point I'm making here, okay, I don't know where I kind of got from here, is like the Obsidian stuff and all that. My whole point is like, I don't need to see all my data. I don't need to be able to click and change everything. I need to be able to know what exists so then I can prompt the shit to make the changes. I think that's better for me. Because in the time that it would take me to find the thing and like make the changes and like think about it all, I could just kind of express what I want, hey, I think there's some things we need to change. It can make the changes like essentially programmatically, like doing those things itself. And then it just happens. So that's my thought. I don't know if that's how that's going to go longer term, but I don't see a world where we continue to like go deeper and deeper into the UI route. And this is why, like, again, when I decided that I was going to move out of like building like WordPress websites, specific, like just exclusively, that was one of the biggest things. Is like I really love the orchestration of this stuff. I do not like clicking around, dragging shit, and doing all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, long way to say that. All right, here's my philosophy on this, and you mentioned it briefly. I prefer to keep a context in a single chat. Yeah, like in a human conversation. While context is important, sometimes I just want to laser focus on an input. For other complex projects, I do want to be able to have recall context. So yes, and I don't know if there's more. Let's see here. Let me see this one. I guess what I want is the best of both worlds. I want to be able to switch off context, and it just gave me an output quickly in some scenarios when it can be able to recall chat and database. Yeah, I think that's possible. It's just, again, it's like we're still in the wild west of this. Like, everybody wants certain things and they're all doable. It's just like, can you find a good configuration that's yours? If I'm understanding that correctly, like, this thing is really good at recalling sessions because it has a full session history. I mean, Claude Code has session history. Claude Chat has session history. Claude Chat's gotten way better. I ask it about stuff and it's like, hey, can you go? I literally say this all the time in Claude Chat. I've tried to not use it recently, but it's like, hey, I know we talked about this at some point. Can you go find what we talked about? And I don't think it's saved it necessarily in memory. I think it just looks in the chat and searches and then, like, I don't know, loads the context back into our new one. I don't even know if it loads the entire context. I think it just, like, hits it. I'd have to think about that, but I think I see what you're saying, because sometimes you just want an answer. But you know what? Honestly, though, the only thing I would, like, not even push back, but, like, think about there is that I can't think of one time, only if it was like searching for something, right? I don't Google anything anymore, right? So it's like, if you're searching for something that you know that it needs to know, how do I put this? One example would be, who is the president of, who's the first president of the United States or something, right? George Washington. I literally did that test with Hermes and I'm like, okay, it knows that. But does it know that from its training data, or did it know that from a web search? That one it might have known from training data, right? But my thing is, like, if you need an answer to something, there's never really a time where I'm not asking it to, like, go find the information, like, go find, like, updated information. I'll literally say that sometimes. There's been many times where I'm like, listen, you just tried to use your training data, and I know your training data is wrong because you have a knowledge cutoff and you're kind of you're a savant idiot with some of this stuff. So go out and find me the information. I physically tell it that sometimes, and then it works because it's literally just basically a autonomous search engine thing at that point, right? Assuming you're in an interface with that tooling, because it's doing a tool call and it's doing whatever, right? But that's a tangent of what Michael was saying there. But I can't think of times where, like, I would want to fully turn off context, but I see what you're saying, and if you're starting a fresh one, then your actual session should be fresh, but it also is probably going to load in memory. So maybe, yeah, I mean, everyone's different. So I'm just trying to think of it because, like, I'm trying to mentally model this, right? And I think if I had an executive assistant sitting right next to me that just so happened to be, like, great at coding, great at writing, knew everything about me, knew my calendar and everything. They don't know everything. They might not know everything this is actually a key distinction that I'm formulating in real time. They might not know everything as soon as I ask them, but they do know, and this is the key distinction probably between the memory and the context thing, and I think I'm starting to understand a little bit more. They know where to find it. So if that's what the context thing partially, I think, is about, and again, there's memory and there's the session histories, but I don't know if there's, like, a perfect way to handle it yet. Because the other thing is, like, your context, typically your knowledge lives outside of the system, and there's kind of just, like, in between ish in a way. There's, like, a map, and it's just like, hey, for personal context, go here. For other context, go here. For whatever context, go here. And then I feel like that's part of the agentic piece of it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the problem is I haven't had, and maybe I'm weird, I haven't had too many issues with output, so to speak. Anything that I've noticed, I haven't had output issues. I've had, like, kind of like user experience issues that I've probably kind of manifested myself because I am a psycho and I want it to have access to everything. Because the problem that I had was, and I'll try to explain it specifically. I would try to do shit in Claude Chat because I liked that interface and I loved it. Had the context, had the rolling context, and then I would literally go over and I would like be like thinking about projects and planning kind of projects there a little bit, and then I would go over to Claude Code and I have to build a website for the client that I was just talking to Claude Chat about, and it'd be like, who? You see what I'm saying? Like, and what I ended up doing was I would have to, like, say Claude Chat, hey, bro, listen, we just talked about all this, but for some reason you're not connected to your cousin over here, Code. So give me all this shit in Markdown, and it'll do that. And then I had to bring it into the directory, and then I had to like use that as my knowledge for that project, that coding session. I just don't see why that's necessary. Like, I mean, because, and the other thing is like, it doesn't even need to know it. There just needs to be something that you can, I mean, I guess chat can kind of do this, but it's like, I just want it to have awareness. And I'm trying, again, I think that we're on that. That's what I'm searching for, but that's what I think we're headed towards. I want it to have awareness of like what it's talking about, where that lives, and then just write certain things to that, right? I mean, the Hermes thing is like, it always is trying to get better and do all this stuff. And, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. Feel like I'm slightly talking in circles with some of it at this point, but yeah. Why do you use Windows and not Linux? Do you use any software that's not compatible with Linux? I've been just using Windows for a long time. Probably tried Linux on like old laptops before. Do I use any stuff? I mean, I have probably a lot of it is just like, a lot of the stuff I use is web-based. I'm looking at yeah, I mean, probably could go Linux, but I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. I mean, I do game on occasion, very, very rarely, although I am trying to make a video game with Unity, ball hockey game, because I play ball hockey. That's going to be really difficult. But it's coming along, actually. Discord and Telegram chat. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why I would do that. I hate Claude Code spamming the chat with the tool calls and such. So I built a chat that shows it, but organized so you can actually read it. Yeah, I feel that. I never had a problem with it specifically, but I see what you're saying. Personally, like I'm kind of the opposite, I feel like in a way, because if I don't see it doing anything, I get irritated, and I'm like, "Are you working?" Well, I'm not trying to be like micromanage the clanker, but I'm trying to think like, I don't know if this thing is working if it's not like showing me what it's doing. So yeah, I mean, I guess if it was in a different kind of UI, then that would be cool. Again, that's another thing is like, these dashboards that I have, I know you can't see this. Let me see if I can find the thing real quick. The settings on these dashboards that I downloaded from open source software are pretty incredible. They like, do you want to see the reasoning? Do you want to see all this other stuff? And it's like, it's kind of like, it's pretty impressive what everybody was able to, I'm assuming, vibe code around these different things. So yeah, it's just something to behold. This aren't optimized for actual tasks, but I get TPL. No, I get it for sure. Like, from a just a typical person perspective, it's just like, I would never be able to do it. And again, I made this video today on the second channel about like how everybody's becoming, AI enabled and emboldened, like clients are. Dude, I think at a certain point, everybody's just going to continue to get better. The models are going to continue to get better. The software is going to continue to get better. The people are going to continue to get better. They're going to expect more, and they're probably going to be more. I mean, it's not even. It's weird because we're living through a huge shift, but like, do more people know how to use the internet now than they did 10 years ago? I think the answer is yeah. Like, are more people going to know how to use AI and feel better, and like even like to the point of like making their own shit in 10 years? Without fucking question, unless everything melts. So, it's just weird to me. It's weird to me that like, it's a good interim. Like, I kind of took that on tangent from the Telegram thing, but it's a good interim. It's just like, I don't know if that's where everything is going to like be. Maybe it'll be that simple. But it just doesn't feel like a great like experience like all the time. But again, maybe projection. Use Claude P and limits it really. I don't know if I've used the P thing. I think I saw that recently, but I do have to look at that. It's pretty cool to create a video on HeyGen Discord sharing updates on what's formed. No, for sure. I mean, it is definitely good for certain pieces. That's a pretty cool trigger. I think it's the same thing. Yeah. I think it hits me twice over here in this other thing that I have. Max, what's up, brother? Thank you, dude. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. €100 on Codex, €100 on Claude Code, and you make everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the $100, $107 a month on Claude Code. I'm literally only on the $20 a month plan for ChatGPT, and somebody tell me if you know, is it faster if you're on the 100 plan? Because that's, again, I was gonna show you. What was that example that I was gonna say? I can't remember. I don't remember what the example was, but I was gonna like do like a little example on Hermes. Because I was talking about that whole workflow and everything. Maybe it wasn't the workflow, but it was like it's just a little slow, and I think it's because it's calling the agent. And I see it all the time. It like calls Hermes skill, and then it gets like it's not always slow. It's like if it knows the stuff, then it's faster. It just seems like it's a little slower than Claude Code in like VS Code that I was accustomed to. But I also, maybe some of it, it's not doing any compute on my shit, but maybe it's like sending to ChatGPT. I also haven't used Codex that much, so I don't really know if that's slower, which maybe it just is slower. So yeah, I don't know. Weird. I'm deep into my vault, using a second brain with all my stuff. Claude just helps keep things on track. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're already in there, that's definitely huge. Just as a way to organize everything. Nice. What to ask, and I don't touch the vault stuff more. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the future, realistically. Built-in cloud memory system. Also just above the output. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's the memory system thing. I mean, I think like one of the appeals is like, you can kind of just say, let's just see if this works. I don't even know if it's going to work. Let's find out. Let's go right here. So this is, let's do slash, okay, if I could fucking type in here, come on, slash clear. Okay. So we got a new session here, fresh screen. Cool. Let's do whisper flow, best tool ever. Let's go. Can you remind me at 12 p.m. Eastern today to cut my grass? I have no idea what's going to happen here. I did try to tell it to do a reminder one time, and it sets like a cron for it, and then you could see it like in the other places. But I'm trying to think, like I think the one time it reminded me, I was out at a restaurant, and I did it through Discord, and it did pop another message in. I'm just wondering like where it's going to throw this message right here. I mean, it might just throw right here, but I don't know. But that's the concept, is like everything centralized and everything like autonomous in that way. At least for me. I don't know. Probably should update Hermes, by the way. Holy shit. I just kind of want to leave this up and see if this is actually going to throw it in here. I don't know if it's going to throw it in here, to be completely honest with you. It's slow because it's spawning the Claude Code process behind the scenes, so that's probably why it feels slow. Okay, well, you mean, okay. Well, mine's hooked up to GPT 5.5, but yeah, I see what you're saying. $100 on Codex is huge value. $1,000 worth it. Okay, well, might get to $1,000. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I probably should try Codex a little bit deeper again, because the best I've used right now is just inside of Hermes. I have the Codex app like installed, but I haven't really done anything with it. So I don't know. We'll find out. We could talk about this canceling SaaS subscriptions thing. I think that's it's obviously a little bit overblown, so to speak, but also like literally real. Like I don't need, like, I'll give you what I'm thinking in my mind. I don't need Notion. I had a subscription, but I don't have the subscription anymore. But even the free thing, I love Notion like as a tool, but I don't need it. Like I don't need it, and I don't really want it. I don't want more surfaces. I don't want more fucking apps. Like I'm already too distracted with the stuff that I have. I do not need more. So I'm trying to consolidate heavily. So that's one example. Like those are basically markdown files and CSV files. Like that's what that is. We do not need that. Like the AI can handle that. We could put that somewhere. We don't need to look at it. If we do need to look at it, the thing could spin up a UI for it just to see it. We could search it with our voice, basically. Like we really don't need that. Unless you're a team and your team likes clicking around and you want to do that. I would even argue though, I don't know. This is an interesting concept real quick. I don't know what the future of AI collaboration is. Like collaboration with AI. Like this is interesting. I should look this up. I should deal with this. Imagine you have files. Maybe this already happens, but like I think it's similar to this, right? You have a code base, or it doesn't matter what it is, right? You have a list of files, and you have two chats open because this would simulate teamwork, right? You have two chats open, and you tell it to do things that would conflict, right? So if you were in Notion or Google Docs or whatever, then you wouldn't like you wouldn't have you wouldn't have this problem because you'd be able to see it and see what's happening. But you don't see this stuff. You'd just be like, imagine you and your teammate said the same, like said, hey, change this to red. It's something's red and you want to change it to blue, and somebody else says change it to purple. Like what ends up happening, as I understand it right now, it literally writes, and then it just, whatever the second one is, it just overwrites it. So that's probably something to explore. And I have not heard of that concept yet, but that's probably something to kind of think about, because I really don't think that the UIs are going to last if people adopt the way that I think about working, which I think a lot of people might, because it's just easier. It's more human. It's more human to just speak and communicate and like orchestrate than it is to actually be like clicking around and doing shit. So yeah, I don't know exactly, but maybe. So that's just one thing that I was thinking about there. And some other things, like I'm just thinking about all the tools that I use, like Notion, really don't need it. Senja, love the platform. It's a great platform. Really don't need to be spending money on literally what is a database, because I'm not using their pre-made widget things, and nobody gives me video testimonials. So like literally I'm just storing like text and images in there and then hitting the API, which is great. It's awesome they give you API access. If they didn't give you API access, I wouldn't be doing it. But like there's like, that's another thing, is like they have forms kind of built in that like kind of walk you through and like dump everything in their database, but that's not hard to recreate. And people say like maintaining, like I haven't ran into maintenance issues yet. Maybe I will, but like I haven't ran into a lot of that stuff yet. Because a lot of the stuff is just, it is what it is. Like unless there's like crazy vulnerabilities, which there's going to be more vulnerabilities later. So, we'll find out what happens there, but that's my thought on that. I'm kind of irritated because I don't think this thing actually reminded me of shit. That's irritating. Why didn't you remind me? It's past 12. Why didn't you remind me? I don't actually know where that's supposed to go. I thought it was supposed to go in just not necessarily anywhere, but I don't know. Find out about that. But yeah, so that's that. It's just kind of a weird situation. There's probably like a lot of other things that the other one is a CRM. Like you know what I mean? Like think about this, right? If your agent knows all of your email, has access to your email, and it has access to your email, so you could constantly be like, hey, did I have any discussions with anybody? Or like you could even input it and you could just see a simple like Kanban thing or whatever. Like I've closed CRM. The simple plan of that, the $20 a month plan or whatever the fuck it is, like is not worth it. Like when you really think about it. If you can kind of build something like that. I'm not saying rebuild your entire software. Okay. That's not what I'm saying, but there's just some of these things that I think can just get seriously absorbed. And I don't know. I just, there's a lot of those types of like, there's so many of those tools out there that it's like, why don't I just build one that's like my, like just simple to myself? You don't even need to build a separate tool. You just build it into what you have. So that's what yeah. Less distractions for sure. Yeah. I'm still in the WordPress ecosystem because I'm stubborn, experimenting with Novamira for Elementor and Miles. Yeah, I heard about Novamira. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. I don't like being the anti-WordPress guy, and I don't think I am, but probably some people do think that now because I've pretty much fully changed up. The best thing that I can say is just like the easiest way that I can explain it is just that I made that video about abstraction layers, and that's what I always call back to is like, it's not the best for me. I'm not saying it's not the best for other people. It's just like, I still have some websites that have WordPress on the back end as like the like a headless situation. But I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to Christian McCoa about a concept, and I was telling him like, why did I switch? Like what was like really exciting? I mean, the whole thing's exciting, but why did I actually start building websites like that insurance agency website, the 10-hour video? Why did I do that? It's because I feel more empowered on different things because I understand how things work, but I just didn't understand exactly or want to take the time to learn how to exactly build them. But the other, like syntax wise, but the other thing is like the thing for me that AI enabled the most or has enabled the most is that I don't have to worry about front ends as much. Like that is such a pain in the ass. Like even if like cuz you had two options, either drag and drop everything or do all your visual development stuff, or you get a template and then it's still ass. Like it's probably not like that good. It's a template, so it's like designed by people and you can change it, but I was never in that camp. I don't want to like I didn't want to do that. So this is like I don't know. I just feel I understand how these clients that I talk about, the empowered, the emboldened people feel. It's just like I feel like they're using it for the first time in so many of that stuff, and I'm probably like same like I'm probably guilty of it in other ways, right? Like I'm trying to build a fucking video game that I've never built. But that is I was just thinking about abstraction layers, and I was thinking like I don't want to be dragging and dropping and changing things, and I don't get any enjoyment from that. And I'm slow, and it's slow, and it's like when something gave me the opportunity to do that, then obviously I did that. So I get it. I understand from the client perspective, and I understand whatever else, but um, I do think though over time, as we're seeing, more things will come out that like, and I just have a different opinion on this. If you have all these abstraction layers, and then you have AI that enables the abstraction layer, I wish I could just find this. Maybe I'll try to pull up this video real quick. If you put AI into the highest level abstraction layer when you could have just put it like 2 layers below, that's kind of the whole problem that I have with me personally doing it. I don't care what other people do, but that's my thought process and my like kind of like my the reason I'm not doing it. The reason I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to be this high up on this ladder and then try to shove more shit when I have the ability now to come back down and be like, no, 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 no. Just build the stuff that I need. I don't need to worry about all of the noise in between here. Just build it directly in the code. Like, now not every situation is going to be like that. But let me see if I can just find a quick screenshot of this video because I don't know where this thing is. I literally did this while inside of here. Okay, hang on a second. And it wasn't the best, but let me just see if I can do this here. If I go to right, let's try this one here. I'm literally covering up my other face. So all I'm trying to say here is like this is it, right? So you have machine code way down here. Okay, I'm not using AI to do machine code stuff, but I'm sure some people are. Then assembly, then systems language, then languages and markup, then frameworks, then CMS, and I'm sure I'm missing stuff or whatever. But like I just feel like using AI here just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me anymore. Using AI down here makes so much more sense because I mean CMS is kind of like an offset of it, but like that's my thing. Like now if you have a whole thing going on and you need to add it in here and you don't want to like, redo websites and whatever, like I get it, but like I don't want this stack to get any fucking bigger. You know what I mean? Like when like, I mean, seriously, like some people are building in Rust, I mean, like some people are building, I just talked to a guy yesterday, he's building in Rust, right? It's like, I don't want to go all the way down, but I do think that, that's an option now. So I just wanted to, I felt like let's go this way, let's go down this stack. So yeah, I don't know. All right, let's see here. It's like why pay for Whisperflow when you can build your own? Well, I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, you could do that too. I don't know what that entails. I know people that have done that though, and there's probably a ton of them. I'm sure there's open source stuff too. Yeah, probably a good idea. Novamir is good. Yeah, haven't tried it yet. Have not tried it yet. Oh, don't do that. Accidentally played the video. Let's get out of that. Okay. What else do we want to talk about here? Got at least a little bit more time for my haircut because it's getting crazy. In other random news, I am about to be a father any day now. My wife is due in 3 days. So yeah, gonna have a little child. Might hear some crying on the streams upcoming because I will have a little baby. But other than that, really to get to the core of this thing, an hour in, is that I'm trying to think, every time I go in now to like Hermes, like, is there anything that this is fundamentally doing that I couldn't do kind of in Claude Code? And I do think there are some things. What did this thing tell me? Let's look at this real quick, because this is like one of the things that like it should be helpful for. The cron job did run, generated the reminder. The output was saved here, but it did not deliver visually back to the CLI chat. Did not have a gateway origin teller. Okay. Okay, so it needs to be on the gateway. Did I get a Discord message? Probably didn't, because it probably wasn't in like the same session. If I did it in Discord, I think it would have done. I think it is a gateway issue. There's just so much shit here. And I think about like the meta thoughts of like, hey, maybe I should help like clients figure all this out. Yeah, it did not deliver to there, but I think it's because it wasn't in the right like session, so to speak, in that regard. I don't understand. Yeah, that's not a mistake. I should have reminder now. Cut your well, I cut it yesterday, bitch. So thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, so I don't know. I think the thing that I'd like to explore more or like kind of focus on too is kind of not, I don't want to say beginner content, but more like fundamental content of using this shit, because at this point there's so much hype. It's getting a little ridiculous around all these different tools. But I think there's still a lot of people that don't understand how to use a lot of it. So like you have your context or your knowledge. You have your processes. Let me see here. I'm just trying to type some like notes here in a sense. So like you have your context and your knowledge. You have your processes, which are like your skills. And then you have your software, which is like your APIs, your MCPs, your whatever. And that's kind of like the thing that you have, like everyone kind of has to understand, and probably a lot of people don't understand still. So that's hopefully going to be like one of the things that I could probably hopefully make a little easier for people to understand. Just with like more content, more examples. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of the stuff that I have here. I mean, just authenticating all this stuff is annoying. Like, and I also think about this, right? If like you authenticate all this stuff with Hermes, now like you're gonna have to authenticate it with like the next thing you try. I don't know. I don't think there's any right answers. It's like either you're damned if you do, because if you could stay in the like the Claude ecosystem, or you're damned if you don't, and you go to Hermes or something, and either it sucks or it's like now it's like a different kind of like system that you have to deal with. I think like the easiest thing that everyone could do is just gather their context, which is why I made that other video a couple months ago, because that is the thing. But even the same time there, it's like if you already have context in places, you probably shouldn't be duplicating the context. You should probably like just like the idea is like if you have all your information in a Google Drive, you probably shouldn't duplicate all that information. You should probably just access that information, But the question is, do you have all that information somewhere? You have to answer that question honestly before you even go any further than that. So, I don't know, kind of weird. It's fun to play with you after 20 years of software engineering. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Is there anything else cool we can do here? Any other questions, thoughts? Let me see if there's anything fun else that I played around with here with Hermes. Honestly, might kind of cut it short a little bit, because I should probably go do some more work, because I'll leave you with like this. I mean, it'd be interesting to know how you guys are faring here. I don't know if you guys are service providers or if you're like just devs and employees or what have you, or business owners. But it is like I don't want to rant on it, but it is kind of annoying what I'm seeing right now in the space from a I don't want to recount this whole video that I just made on my second channel, but it is kind of like shh, be quiet. Like this video here. Um, I don't know what to say about this. It's like the long and short of it is that I attract people that are like ambitious for some reason. I attract people that are ambitious and want to, build their own things for their businesses and use AI, and they're completely AI emboldened, which is, again, great. But ultimately, like, it's hard to sell to those people, at least I've found, because they don't know what they don't know. They feel like they know everything. They know how much they're paying for this, this source of knowledge and this source of, universal knowledge and universal truth or whatever. And they're trying things and it's working, you know what I mean? And it's like they're non-technical and they're like just completely enamored. And that's quite frankly difficult to navigate. And I'm trying to do it on my end, but I'm also trying to like, learn and share and all this other stuff. And I mean, not everyone's the same, but it would just be interesting because like I see it in certain places and people are like, oh yeah, I got more work than ever. And like, I got more people than ever that are worth. What are you doing? Like, I mean, are you building websites for them? Because I mean, honestly, like I've literally had 5 clients now, like 5 people in my sphere of knowing, clients that they're like so far ahead of their peers. They just asked AI to do stuff and it just does stuff. And again, maybe it's not great, but it works, I mean, I'm on calls now with people that are non-technical that are building apps and shit that are not they're completely innovative and like they're using all sorts of different technologies and stuff like that. I mean, it's like it's weird. It's a weird spot to be in. So I don't know if anybody else has dealt with that, but just an employed dev exploring it all. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, honestly, you are I don't know. I mean, well, let me go that way a different way because I've had conversations too with employees at FANG companies, and their position is interesting because it's like I don't envy it. They get forced to use AI. They don't write any syntax anymore. They're using AI to write the code, and then if they're in a big company, maybe if you're in a mid-sized company or something, or like a smaller company, maybe it's just like, oh, we got Claude Code and you're using it to code, and we're all getting better. But if you're in a bigger company, I think what they're doing is they have the layer that is processing all that data and making their shit even better. Like it's making, I think they're effectively paying software devs right now. This is a hypothesis, but it makes total sense. They're paying software devs right now to use AI to code their shit and then QA it. And then they're probably taking all that data and retraining their own, subset of training data or, their own model or whatever. Not their own model, but their own thing to basically end up, replacing the devs. Because if you can just keep that feedback loop going long enough, you probably need less people and you probably need less humans because like the software would just get, or the agentic side of things would just continue to get better because if you did that. I think that's what's happening. It seems like it's what's happening. I talk to these people and they're literally code reviewers now, like they're not typing syntax at all. They just prompt. And it's seemingly like that's what they have to do. Like that's what they said they're out to do. They have to work faster. They have to get more done. They're just prompting. They're not writing syntax and they're just reviewing a bunch of shit. So like they see what's happening. They're looking at the diffs and like, I don't know if I would do it that way. And then maybe sometimes they steer it. But so I don't really envy that position. I mean, still getting paid, big money, but I don't think that's for a lot of devs. And I can't speak for devs because I'm not I think I have a little bit of a developer background more than a lot of people, but I'm not a dev. Like I'm a business person. Like I'm an entrepreneur. And that's no shade to anyone, but it is a different mindset because it's like, I'm not saying you can't move from one to the other, but I'm saying that it is noticeably different because like dev, you know what I mean? Like that's their thing. That's what they wanted to do. They weren't worried about how are we going to make more money. They were worried about how are we going to make code? How are we going to make better code? How are we going to write better syntax, whatever the fuck it is. And God bless, we need that. And now it's like, you know, for me, that obviously wasn't exactly, it's not exactly the same thing. But if you are a dev, especially one of those bigger companies, like I could totally understand how that was like your source of not just livelihood, but enjoyment in a lot of ways. And now it's like, now I'm just a fucking code reviewer. If that's the case, maybe it's not the case for everyone, but I could understand that. I'm empathetic towards it. But unfortunately, we all have to navigate this, and we're all in different like places and perspectives. So it's kind of wild. Depends on the company for sure. We started rolling out Claude for use here. It's not being pushed, but we have 30-plus-year-old legacy code. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it varies heavily from place to place. I don't know. It's kind of a weird spot. I don't know. I mean, long and short of it is I need to build cooler stuff, better stuff for me so I save some more time. And then I think just kind of show that to other people and continue down that way. I will say again, depending on who's listening, like it's I'm having trouble, like kind of like not selling it, but like literally packaging these different things because it's kind of like really annoying that there's so much you can do that it's like really hard to like actually narrow it down in some ways. Um, it's just kind of wild. So I don't know. Honestly, um, I can't think if there's anything else crazy. I think the biggest thing is again, I want to make some simple beginner content too, or like fundamental content on like how I think people should kind of like start thinking about this stuff because I still think there's not a lot of people making fundamental content like that. They're making hype sensationalist shit, which is fine. Like, I enjoy like knowing what the newest stuff is, but that's not really what I feel like a lot of people need to deal with right now. They need to like understand like the fundamentals of this, right? And I don't mean the fundamentals of syntax. I mean the fundamentals of like dealing and orchestrating AI. So I think I'm going to try to do that more. Try to push more people towards modern builder society because we've had some really really good chats in there. I'm gonna try to continue to dump more resources in there. And yeah, obviously, I want to continue to service clients because I want to get real boots on the ground feel. But the thing is, just everyone's in a different spot. We got some devs, we got some entrepreneurs, we got some business owners, we got some service providers. I mean, like it's weird. So yeah. Let me see here. Kyle says, I'm all self-taught, no school. So it's new to generate projects with a prompt in an hour instead of weeks. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Appreciate that, Kyle. Thank you. Toby says, Mark, I like your video setup. You finally achieved that look. Appreciate that, dog. Thank you. Yeah, there's just a light back there, dude. There's just a little light on a tripod thing there. I think we need to be a little brighter over here, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4 lights up there, and then a little guy over there. It's pretty good. I will say real quick on that note, I want to make this on the second channel if anybody cares, but on the content creation thing, like I've been so much better now. Like the fact that this thing is 4K, just got to do it directly in OBS. It's the web-based stuff just meh. Only gets to 1080p. It's rough. So yeah. I think I'm gonna end this here, guys. I really appreciate all you. Thank you for all the great engagement, all the thoughts and everything. Hopefully we continue to navigate this. To answer the question, am I going back to Claude Code? I don't think the answer is necessarily like yes. I think the answer is I want to continue to evolve and see if like there's other things that I can do there. I would love this sort of like AI agent assistant thing. I do think it's probably going to end up getting created by all these companies anyway. So I don't really know if it's worth like thinking about, but if we don't think about it and we don't like, if I don't move on it and try to express things and try to continue to build up like trust by, giving away value like that, then I think I think that's not the right decision. Just got to keep going on that. And Hopefully we can figure out good ways to sell to the AI emboldened clientele that I keep running into, or we just don't talk to those people and we talk to people that are just don't care about it, never going to get it. That's probably easier. But even they know that AI can do stuff. You know what I mean? They just haven't seen it. So I just think more and more people are going to get, they're just going to keep getting funneled in there into that lane. And we're all going to have to continue to rise and ascend and figure out how to sell to those people and how to provide value to them. So it'll be an interesting continuation of, I don't know, this space, but that's all I got. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much as always. And make sure you go. Links in the description. Modern Builder Society. If you want a good place to navigate this with everyone else. And if you're a business owner watching this somehow, then I can implement some of this stuff for you. Links down there to work with me as well. Thank you so much as always. Appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you in the next one. Yep.